Everyone for joining us today for our Abhidhamma study class with Siaro Pinyati Linkara. This is class 31, and we will be covering the fixed and unfixed mental factors, and this will be part 1 of that topic. But before we begin, we would like to invite Siaro to open with Namo Tassa. Siaro, would you like to open Namo Tassa with us?
Okay. Let's start our today's Abhidhamma study, reciting Namo Tassa 3 times together. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa.
Thank you very much, Siaro, and leading us in Namo Tassa. We would now like to invite Siaro to begin the Abhidhamma lecture. Siaro, whenever you are ready.
Okay. Okay, let's start. Study on the fixed and unfixed manifestas. See, here is adjuncts. Niyata yogi and aniyata yogi in Pali. So this this one is the end of the Sambhyoga Neya. Because in Sambhyoga Neya we have studied how many consciousness can associate with the specific manifesta. So we already study and we already search the consciousness, a group of consciousness that can associate with the manifesta starting from the Phassa, Vedana, etc. So we already know all 25, all 52 manifesta with the associating consciousness. Some consciousness share the same group of consciousness. Some manifesta share the same number of consciousness to associate. That's why we made the group. There are some consciousness, some manifestas like the Paṭipatti, they share the same number. They share the same number, but they are not associating together at the same time. Although they can associate the same consciousness, but they are not coming together because they have the different nature. Like a Paṭipatti Cetasika, they can associate with the 16. But once one of the Paṭipatti, the abstinence manifestas arise at that moment, the other 2 cannot arise. So these are called the aniyata because they are not fixed to the consciousness. Then, like a moha, like all 4 manifestas leaded by the moha. Moha, ahidika, anuttapa, and uddhacca. Yeah. These 4, whenever unwholesome consciousness arises, and the 12 consciousness, they are associated with 12 consciousness of unwholesome. Whenever unwholesome consciousness arises, they never left behind, they never miss. That is why we can call they are fixed manifestas. They are fixed manifesta. So in this way, in the beautiful side, how many are fixed manifesta?
19.
19, yeah, beautiful manifestas are fixed to the beautiful consciousness. So none of them left when any of beautiful consciousness arise. They always arise together. And also the Panyendriya, the wisdom faculty associated with the 47 consciousness, right? So whenever any of 47 consciousness arise, the wisdom faculty never missed, always accompany. That's why the wisdom faculty also considered as the fifth manifestas, Niyata Yogi Chitasika. So, okay, let's see the how we can classify the 52 manifesta into two types of Niyata fixed and Aniyata unfixed. So here the number is for the Niyata 41 and Aniyata 11. So if you can count Aniyata 11, you get the 41. So let's count Aniyata 11. What are the unfixed adjustment manifestas? So here, let's see the nature. Aniyata means they do not necessarily arise in the types of consciousness to which they all aligned. So they arise together, but they are not necessarily to arise. So here, the first group is Isa, Maitreya, Kukuja, three manifesta. So can you bring the other more 8 manifestas? Can be Abhidhamma 2, okay, so 5.
Virati 3.
Virati 3, 8. 8, okay, so we get the 8.
Tina Metta.
Tina Metta, yes, Tina Metta 2, 10. What is the last one? Mana. Okay, good. So you can count here 3 Virati and 2 Illimitative. In the Akusala group, here there are Mana again and Tina Metta 2. These are 11 manifestas. They are not necessarily to associate with the certain consciousness. They can arise together. We already get the number. So for the first group, how many consciousness can arise with the first group? Isa, Maitreya, Kukuja.
Only 2.
Only 2. What are these 2?
The 2 dosa mula.
Yes, great. 2 dosa mula. But whenever 2 dosa mula, one of the 2 dosa mula arise, is it necessary to arise Isa?
No.
No. When Isa arise, can you see? In which situation Isa arise with the dosa mula?
Unhappy with other people's success.
Yes, unhappiness, when the unhappiness nature come arise with the other success, at the moment, one of the dosa mula arise. Then the Isa accompany. And the other moment or dosa mula arise, Isa cannot arise. That's why Isa is not fixed to the dosa mula consciousness. And also at the time Isa arise, can the Maitreya arise?
No.
No, right? Maitreya cannot arise at the time of Isa arise because these three are mutual exclusive. When one arises, the other 2 absent, because we already explained why. Because they have a different focus, right? Isa focus on others' success. Maitreya focus on one's own property. And Wari, Kukuja, focus on the good deed he missed and the evil deed he has done in the past, right? This is the object focus of Kukuja. That's why these three mental factors has the different focus and also performing the different function. That's why these three cannot arise together and mutually exclusive. So in this way, we can say they are not necessarily arise. That's why and we can say this is Karachi, right? Sometimes or occasionally arise. This is called Karachi. Another one, Nana, is mean these three are mutually exclusive. That's why we can say these are Nana. So in the next slide, we can classify. And for this slide, let's see remaining 41 feathers are called the fifth adjuncts because they always arise together with their associated consciousness. So let's consider in the Savajita Saradana all, right? It is very obvious. And for the beginner, how many are niyata and how many are aniyata? Let's consider group and
They're
group.
all near.
Yes, all niyata. So Vidyaka, Vichara, Adhimokkha, Viriya, Piti, Chanda, all 6 beginner, although they are beginner, we say, but once they are recognized with the associated consciousness and they arise together and whenever the consciousness arises. And for the akusala, how many akusala cetasika are niyata and how many are aniyata? Let's see, let's consider.
Delusion quartet is niyata.
Okay.
Lobha is niyata. Deity is niyata.
Okay. 6.
Dodha is niyata.
Was that 7?
Vicikiccha is niyata.
Vicikiccha is niyata. 8. So among the 14, right? 14 unwholesome mental fetters. Here, this is 3. Esa, Matriya, Kukucha, and Mana, and Tina Metta. So 6. 6 are aniyata, and the remaining 8 are niyata. Yeah. I mean, for the lobha, associated with the 8 lobha mula, right? 8 lobha mula consciousness. Whenever any of 8 lobha mula consciousness, lobha always accompany, always arise. That's why lobha is considered as niyata. This is not actually not difficult. You just need to know about the 11. And the others, you just keep the general principle in the mind. It's okay. Okay, so for the beautiful mental fetters, only 25. So let's count how many are unfixed. So with the DN, Abhidhamma, right? The others 20 among the 25. So the 5 are unfixed, aniyata. So 20 mental fetters or beautiful universal and panyendriya, they are fixed. So in this way, we can identify all those are unfixed and these are fixed. If you know this principle and then the next method or the combination method according to Bhikkhu Bodhi translation, the combination method, Sanghahaniya, is easy. We already finished one, right? One group, or unwholesome group, we already finished, even for the Sanghahaniya, right? So, okay, let's continue to classify. Here, 11 we already count. And yeah, because they invariably arise in their assigned types of consciousness. Here, some critical aspects, like when we are sleeping, what kind of consciousness arises? Can you imagine? When you are really sleeping, no dream at all.
The Bhavanga, Vipaka,
Yes,
Vipaka.
Bhavanga is called the Mahavipaka, right?
Mahavibhaga.
Yeah. So one of the Mahavipaka consciousness run as the function of Bhavanga when we are sleeping. So at the moment, at least how many consciousness can arise? Now let's consider. Based on the principle we know, you can consider. So can you, do you need to think about the unwholesome group?
No.
No.
No, because this is beautiful, right? Okay, so based on that, and then we will start from the universal one. So all universal is 7 and
6 occasional. 6 occasional.
So Vitakka, Vichara also, right? Vitakka, Vichara. Also here you see how Vitakka can arise at the moment. Come to critical points. Right? So you're thinking that, oh, I have many Vitakka and I cannot sleep, you say. But during the moment of sleeping, when the Bhavanga consciousness arises, you see, Vitakka just, they exclude the Dvipancha Vijnana, right? In the 54 sense sphere consciousness. That's why, so Vitakka accompany your sleeping consciousness, right? So sometimes only classification is not enough, right? So the nature of Vitakka is helping the consciousness to attend to the object. So the sleeping consciousness at the moment, Mahavipaka Chitta arises, it also attend to its specific object. So we will learn later, what are the starting object when we are sleeping, because we don't remember what kind of objects appear during the moment of my sleeping. So it also helps, according to the Abhidhamma teaching, no consciousness can arise without any object, without the object. If there's no object, there's no consciousness. So whenever consciousness arises, consciousness take any object. But when we are sleeping, we don't remember when we wake up, but still have this certain object. The Abhidhamma identify the object at the moment of sleeping. So Vitakka helping the consciousness and the other mental factor to attend to its object. This is the work of Vitakka, not intentionally thinking at the moment. In the same way, during the moment of sleeping, as our sleeping consciousness is beautiful, there must be sattva. Here you see sati, hiri, ottappa. How is that? They cannot be missed. Here invariably arise. I mean, they cannot miss at the moment of their assigned types of consciousness. So how is sattva? Very complicated, right? So just keep in mind as a question. And later, this is how we can explain in the teaching literature, because sattva making clearance, as I mentioned when I explained about the sattva, definition of sattva. So the definition is sometimes very narrow. But just to clarify the nature of mental factor, sattva is okay. Because during the sleeping time, we are not considering about the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, or Kamma, or something else. So still have this, the function of saddha running there. So we need to understand in this case. That's why if we are very strongly stuck to the definition given and this given to the sarin saddha, we were confused. So in this case, the saddha is making clarification to the others. We can say the mentalities, group of mentality arising together with the saddha. It is okay. Sati also awareness, not to the awareness, not awareness to the specific meditation object or any other else. Just aware to its object only. But in this case, many questions can come. You know, up to now, I also sometimes in that case, just can just talk about how the Pali literature is explained, because in some cases still difficult to identify. In Abhidhamma case, only when you can discern by yourself, you are clear about that. So, if this sati can attend, can consider, even in case of sleeping, you're not doing something good, just sleeping. At that time, even awareness, sati, that's why the Bhikkhu body translate as the attentiveness, right? Attentiveness, not other than mindfulness, or like this. Sati can arise, but in the akusala moment, sati cannot arise, because sati is considered as the beautiful feather, beautiful mental feathers. And that's why you may have the many questions when you are thinking about the Abhidhamma feathers in the daily life, how it's possible or like this. And some question, if you learn father's teaching and it's already solved, without connection with the advanced level, still have the question. So some aspect, although you already learned the great amount of literature, still have a question. They are still remain in the question, and they are solved only when you experience in the practice. And in this case, when you can discern the mental feathers, consciousness and mental feather from your experience, it will be clear. Otherwise, how is possible, saddha is there at the moment of sleeping? I also cannot make you to assure how it can be. What I can say is the saddha is there at the moment of sleeping. Okay, so this is how the near-dark mental feathers come to the question. Or if you don't understand, no problem. If you understand, oh, these are near-dark, but this must be fixed, and they must be always arise in their assigned types of consciousness whenever they arise. Okay, let's see. And at that moment, the problem comes, the question comes into your mind, right? Okay, don't worry, you just keep the question. This is my question. And as according to, the appropriate time, sometimes if you ask this kind of question to the meditation teacher during the meditation retreat, it will be so disappointed, because they would think, oh, this is a kind of complaint, they just focus on that. You're considering that, and you will experience later, they will say. But still, you were too curious about this, and they will say, "Oh, this is hindrance for your meditation." Somehow, is the conversation is not will not be fluent. That's why I suggest in the Abhidhamma discussion, it doesn't matter. You can bring every kind of question. In this case, we are studying. And in meditation, even you are thinking about how it's possible and how it's possible. Too much curiosity can make you trouble in practice, in concentrating. And that's why you need to care when you have a question and you know whether you will ask to the teacher or not. For myself, it's okay, no problem. I can discuss with any kinds, depends on the situation. Okay, so now in this slide, we already understand 11 agents. So I just say the unfixed, not mentioned in detail, but in the next slides here in this slide, we will classify the unjust into the two types. Unfixed into two types, aniyata to two types. Aniyatas are not necessarily arise. They do not necessarily arise. That consciousness, they are silent. And here, there we can see the kataji occasionally kataji. Sometimes they arise, sometimes they don't arise. And another aspect divided into two parts, nana and saha. They are opposite each other. Nana is separately, saha is combination. So we will see what are the nana and what are the saha. Okay, all of them, they are aniyata because we already say they unfixed, right? All of them are unfixed. Then, okay, let's see. The first three group of Isa, Maitreya, Kokucha, and in the mundane here, specifically in mundane, of level of abstinence, Vidati. Why I need to add this mundane, the one mundane? Can you tell?
In supramundane, three verities, they occur together.
Right. And also, always, right? Whenever supramundane consciousness arises, they never miss, and they arise as a constituent of the Metta and Phala. That's why they associate with the abstinence always. Okay, so regarding this, can we say the virati? Can virati arise in the process of arahat, in the mind of arahat or not? How can you answer?
Not while arhats are not in phala chitta. When the arhats did not enter phala chitta, they're having a kiriya chitta. In kiriya chitta, the viratis do not arise.
Okay, great.
But when they enter phala chitta, then viratis do arise.
Yes, this is very good question. But if we say that virati, can virati arise in the arhat's mind? If we consider kriya chitta, we will say no, they will not arise, because we already have the answer and the reason why the virati manifestas cannot arise the arhat's mind. That is the kriya chitta we already mentioned, right? So remembering, understanding this reason, and then you will answer yes, the virati will not arise. But actually, when arahat enter to the arahata phala samapatti, it means the arahat enter to the attainment of arahata phala fruition. That at that time the arahata phala consciousness arise. That is supramundane. At the time of supramundane consciousness, virati cannot miss. So virati being the constituents of Makanga, virati will associate with the Arahata Phala consciousness. That's why at that time is exception to make that here mundane consciousness. The mundane consciousness. So if we talk about the mundane consciousness associated with virati, how many consciousness?
8.
8. The great wholesome, right?
Yes.
8 great wholesome. So this is not connected to the Arhat or like this. So abstinence in mundane consciousness is separately and occasionally. And also illimitable, Abhamanya too. Always, they arise separately and occasionally. Okay, let's start here. I already mentioned the Asa, Machariya, Gokuja, they cannot arise at the same time. That is why these arise separately. Okay, and also they cannot arise always with the dosa mula consciousness. For example, he just get angry, get angry by himself, or I get angry because someone is put in here, it is misuse. It should not be here. Sometimes you get angry. At that moment, there's no Isa and no Machariya and also no Kukuja. You just get angry. And also sometimes you upset not for your mistake. That at that time, without any of the Isa, Machariya, Kukuja, dosa mula consciousness arise. In this way, we can understand the first group, Isa, Machariya, Kukuja, they arise separately and they arise occasionally. Okay, remember when we find the mental factors that are associated with the dosa mula consciousness, we have to remember this one, right? So if we talk about the mental factor in overall number, all number in maximum number. So we have to add all of them, although they cannot arise at the same time, because we are counting like this. How many in your associate in the group of one Metta. You can count everyone. Even when some people showed up themselves, only some case, only some ceremony or special event they come, but you can count because still they are counted as the member of one Metta group. Also, if we say that how many come regularly, so regular group, you can count this they come regular, and also you can say how many are necessarily. They are the minimums. Minimums mean without them it is impossible. You cannot make any activities. In this way, when we find the mental factor, these are associated with any of these aniyata. The aniyata, we have to consider this kind. So how many is a maximum, and how many is a regularly, and how many is a minimum. In 3 number we get. So okay, let's count it to practice dosa mula. Once dosa mula consciousness, okay, let's consider how many mental factors can arise. The first one, without Tinamita, right? Okay, so
That would be
we
20.
can count it. Starting from the
7 universal.
7 universal. Okay, we get 7.
5 occasional.
Yes.
5 occasional. So
7.
what are missing?
Piti.
Okay, so the other Vidyaka, Vichara, Adhimaka, Viriya, Chanda.
Chanda is sometimes missing.
No, actually, Chanda is only Mohamula and Ahituka, right? Missing. So that's why in the Dosa Mula, no missing Chanda.
It's not missing. Yeah.
Okay, so 5 occasionals, we get the 12, right?
12.
12 in first group. In Akusala group.
Delusion quartet.
Okay, so 6. So 12 and 4, 16.
16. Plus dosa.
Plus dosa. Okay, so you just take a dosa is minimum, right?
Minimum is
Okay, minimum dosa only.
maximum will be
Maximum will be 4, right? So
4.
let's count the maximum. So 4 dosa is a Machariya Kukucha, right?
12 plus 4 plus 4.
16 plus 4, 20.
20.
Is there Loba Diti Mana?
No.
No. Okay. Then Tinamida. The first one, no, right?
Second one is Tinamida.
Second one was the Tinamida. Okay, so we just keep it 20.
2.
And what about the Vichikicha?
No.
No. So 20.
Oh.
Right? In Dosa Mula, maximum 20, because you cannot count any of the beautiful mental feathers. Not difficult, you just need to concentrate on that, the principle. Okay, so 12 mental feather of the Anya Samana except the Piti. And Moha Aidika Anodaba 4. And Dosa Isamachariya Kukuja 4. And these are 20 mental feathers that can associate with the first Dosa Mula consciousness. For the second one, we can add 2 more Tinamida, 22. Then among them, this is maximum amount. If we say, so regularly, how many can possible, possibility. So if we can add any of them, sometimes Isa, sometimes Machariya, sometimes Kukuja. So we take out 2. That's why for the first one, how many can? 18.
18.
Yeah, at the same time, right? 18 at the same time. But when Isa arrives, Machariya cannot arrive. That's why at the same time, we count, okay, this 18. Because although we count the 20, it is impossible 20 it arising together. 18 will be. Then if we count it, okay, so sometimes in minimum case, 17 also possible, right? Without any of them. So no Isa, no Machariya, no Kukuja at the moment. So 12 Anya Samana and 4 universal unwholesome, so 16 plus Dosa.
1 dosa.
Right.
17.
Yeah, for the second one, you just need to add the Tinamida.
Tinamida.
Yes, okay. So this is the way how we need to consider. But for the lower Mula consciousness, there's no this kinds, only about the Tinamida you just need to consider. But for the lower Mula, no variable. But for Dosa Mula, due to this unfixed group, this becomes a variable. Number can be variable. The minimums are necessary case. Or at the same time, how many can, and then you can count, adding one of them. And maximum case, you can count everything to cover. This is how we can. And also here, with a decase, mundane, it make variable in the mundane level. That's why we have to consider about the mundane consciousness. In which group you need to consider about Vidadi.
Mahakusala Chitta.
Mahakusala, that is called the great wholesome consciousness group only for the Vidadi. You consider, it should be Vidadi or not. So Mahakusala, for example, if you are just making donation, offering food, at that moment, and there's no Vidadi because no abstinence. Although you will say there, I'm doing something good deed, good action or right action. No, this is not considered as Vidadi because Vidadi is abstinence. There must be any aspect to avoid from wrongdoing at that moment. Only that moment the Kaya Sammakamanta arises. So okay, when Vidadi arises is when you deliberately or intentionally abstain from musawara. Okay. Oh, I cannot speak musawara in this case, and then you speak the right speech at that moment. So wholesome consciousness, right? So let's count how many Paṭivedha arise. With the wholesome, your wholesome consciousness, you are avoiding, musawara.
13.
Depending on
Okay.
whether or not you have PT.
Okay, if it is, the somanasa, right?
Somnasa, yeah.
So, okay, let's consider the first
13.
types. 13,
13, and then 19,
Inyasamana, and 19, universal,
universal,
32, right?
beautiful, yeah. And then 1,
One
Sama-
here, Sama Vaja.
Samavata.
So 33.
Maybe we can add Pinyindriya.
Okay, it's Jnana Sambyodha. So the first one, Jnana Sambyodha, because, yeah, okay. So how many?
34.
34.
34. Okay. So because here, Abhamanya at the moment of the virility, it cannot arise, right? So you just need to add in this way. But if we just say, oh, Mahakusala Citta, how many consciousness? We need to add all of them because this is a general case. We count whatever possible mental factors. So Tatyam, Anyasamana, and all beautiful, altogether 38, right? Among the 38, at a time in the special case here, when you deliberately avoid the musawara at that moment, only samavacha associate, and the other 4, including Abhamanya, right? The other 4 cannot arise because they have this different object. So you need to combine these two groups together when you consider about the mental factor, whether it can arise or not to the starting consciousness. It never arise, 2 of them. Yeah, 2 of them never arise in the mundane level, especially my great wholesome consciousness we need to consider. Okay, so without them also it is possible, the just wholesome consciousness arise, and none of them arise. Okay, so for the Abhamanya case, we already finished about the great wholesome. We already consider, right? So let's consider about the another one associated with Abhamanya, but not associated with virility. Can you bring any clue in Monday?
Mahakiriya.
Mahakiriya, the functional consciousness group, right? The functional consciousness group, when the Arahat is mind, he just living in his normal life, the functional consciousness, one of the great functional consciousness arising in his mind. At the moment, Abhamanya not accompanying, not arising. So you need to put aside. So let's count again, how many mental factors can arise in the functional consciousness. In Somanasa, relax.
13 plus
13,
19.
yeah. 13 plus
19.
19.
Plus
If
1.
Jnana Sambyodha 1. So, okay, it's 20. So 13 plus 20, 23, and 33, right? In Jnana Sambyodha, we have to add the Panyindriya. So you can see the regularly 33. If Jnana Vibhuddha, you remove the Panyindriya, so 32. If Upekkha Sahagata, you remove which one? PT again, right? PT is easy, if you know the key. Or if Upekkha Sahagata, I remove the PT again. Then you get the regular group. Then you just need to consider, in the case he is practicing karuna, developing karuna in his mind, or then you need to add karuna, but you cannot add a mudita at that moment. So another time, if he is developing the mudita at that moment, you can add mudita. Only one. Sometimes, in normal living, no karuna or mudita at that time. So you can get the number, variable number, right? So this is about the Abhidhamma case. So in Abhidhamma, you just need to consider the Mahakusala group and Mahakriya group in the and also 3 jhana citta, right? 3 or 4 jhana, 4 jhana, except the Panchama jhana, right? So first, second, third, fourth jhana, 12.
12.
In that case, you need to consider about the Abhidhamma. If you have to be careful because all of them are separately. That's why you cannot add 2 at the same time. You can add only one, a single mental factor of this group. You can add in the Sarin consciousness. So this is Nana Garaji group. So altogether 8, right? So we can say among the 11 unfixed mental factors, 8 are Nana Garaji separately and occasionally. So remember, what are they if we are asked in this way? What are these? Nana Garaji. So you just need to remember. I think you already understand the meaning. Okay. Then another one, concept, mana. Mana is one of the unfixed mental factor. It is just only occasional. Garaji only. No Nana, because it is only one. When it arises, so let's say mana arises with which consciousness? Which consciousness?
Paṭipatti with you.
Yes. Okay, good. In unwholesome group, Loba Mula 8, there in the dissociated with round view, 4 consciousness. So mana arises with. Although we say the mana arises with the 4 Loba Mula consciousness dissociated from round view, together with Buddha. It does not mean mana necessarily arises. It does not mean. That's why sometimes you just have the together with Buddha consciousness just to attach. Then at that time, mana is not arising. Mana is not arising. So that's why we say the mana is occasional one, occasional mental factors, but not related to every kind, only related to the unwholesome kind. That's why it is not included in the occasional mental factor, right? Only 6 different nature. And because it does not, at the moment of the Loba Mula Titigata Vibhuddha, there's no other 10. Can you find any of the other 10 at the moment of mana? So in Loba Mula Titigata Vibhuddha, is it possible? Is Samachariya Kukucha?
No.
No, because it's Samachariya Kukucha arises only with the
Dosa Mula.
Dosa Mula. That's why not connected with the mana. And the Viruddhi and Abhidhamma are beautiful factors. So it's also impossible to arise with the mana. And Tinamida. Yeah, Tinamida is a different nature. So we can see that for the Tinamida, yeah, Saha and Karaji. So the meaning of Saha is in combination. Karaji is occasionally. It means at the first meaning Saha, whenever Tinamida arises, they arise together. They never arise only Tina or only Metta. They never arise. So this is the wa saha we need to know. Or Tina Metta is saha Chitasika. This is only two, right? The others are not considered as saha, only nana separately. And here, for Tina Metta, necessarily in combination, we have to consider. If you just count the Tina and put aside the Metta, is impossible. If there is Tina, and there must be Metta. So, but you know, when you study about the defilements, do you know what are the 10 defilements?
Kilesa.
We call it, I know.
So this is a very important one, right?
10. What was
Kilesa.
the question? What's the question, Sarah?
Now, what are the 10 kilesa?
Lava, Dada, Moha.
Right.
Lova, Moha, Tana, Mana, Deti, Visikesa.
Atana, no Tana. Because Tana and Lova is the same. So Lova, Dosa, Moha, Mana.
Mana, Deti,
Vichikitsa,
Vichikesa, Tina, Menda,
no Metta there. Right. This is the
Tina.
point. Tina, Ahirika, Anutaba, Udacha. You can check in chapter 7 of Abhidhamma Lecture. They are only the collection of 10 defilements you can find in Abhidhamma Lecture. Okay, so what I want to find out is, although the Tina Metta always arise in combination, in the counting or in the enumeration of kilesa defilement, only Tina is pointed out as a defilement. And Metta is not explained. This is also another critical point. Okay, at the beginning, you need to remember what are the kilesa, right? Also, you know, this is an important point when you are studying Abhidhamma and the Sutta teaching. But for example, if you want to wash your face in early morning, and you know, last night you walk with the the inks or something can stain in your face, unless you can identify which one is stain in my face and which one is more in my face, originally theirs. You cannot clean, right? You cannot clean your face because, or you may think, oh, this is not stain. This is more in my face or already, but it is stain, right? So this is, you need to know the defilement at least. What are the defilements? If you're meditating, okay, you need to know what are the defilements. The meditation, the purpose of meditation is to purify your mind from defilements, find the power of concentration of wisdom. Using this power, and you are removing your defilements, the present and the removing. If you know what are the defilements, it will be very helpful in your practice, and also in your daily life. Otherwise, if you don't know what are the defilements, how you can identify, or my mind is defined, or my mind is purified. This is same as, you in the situation you cannot identify which one is stained in your face. So many of our Buddhists, although they are talking about the meditation, and they are missing to know about the defilement. What are the defilements? Although they are talking about the mental development, bhavana, or I get a certain level of meditation, they are missing to know about their mental hindrances. Only when you know the mental hindrances, you can remove. How you can remove without knowing what are the mental hindrances, right? So it is good to know. It is good to know. So here, the Tina and Metta always arising together, but only Tina is considered as the defilements, kilesa. Okay, anyhow, we talked about the Tina Metta arise in combination, but not necessarily arise. That's why they are occasional. So now you see all of them, Aniyata, because they are unfixed, and consider a Karaji. Or every group you see they're all Karaji, right? Occasionally. But all they are divided into two types here, in case of they arise separately or they arise in combination. Because mana is only one, a single feather, we don't need to talk about this separately or in combination, right? So this is the way how we can understand the fixed and unfixed mental feathers. 11, only 11 unfixed, and the others 41 are fixed. But in the Abhidhamma Sangha test, it just mentioned only a short time, with the one verses, just mentioned that. To include all the information, Abhidhamma Sangha, the explanations are very nice way, very skillful way of composition to make the conscious version of text. That is why if you just read the Abhidhamma Sangha text, you cannot cover all the meaning that the author intend to explain. Okay, so now we already explained the unfixed mental feathers. So don't forget this, they are coming in combination and occasionally. So let's talk about the slot on top of Tina Metta. So do you know Tina Metta arise with how many consciousness, and what are they?
5.
Okay,
4
5.
greed rooted and 1 from hatred rooted.
Hatred rooted. Okay, 5 in unwholesome only, and all of them are
Sasankarika.
asang. What?
Sasankarika.
Sasankarika, right? Sasankarika, prompted consciousness. Sasankarika 5. So it does not mean whenever Sasankarika, unwholesome consciousness arise, Tina Metta accompany. So only when the consciousness, you attach to something with the Sasankarika, at the moment you are not sleepy, right? You are not sleepy. Even sometimes, you cannot sleep because your mind attached to that. Or sometimes you get angry. Even you cannot sleep. Sasankarika, right? And at that mind, at that time, Tina Metta are absent. That's why we say that occasionally. Only when, still you get angry and or you attach to something, but your mind is not active enough, not very active. Then at that time, the Tina Metta arise. So Tina Metta is not necessarily arise the 5 consciousness, although they are assigned as the associated consciousness. Okay, so this is all information we need to know about the fixed and unfixed consciousness, but these are very important information when we continue studying about the combination method. If you miss, you will always mistake, wrongly counting the number, because you will at some time 3 already together, or when you count one of the already, you will count the Abhamanya or like this. So for the Mahavipaka Chitta, none of them arise. Vidadi or Abhamanya, they don't arrive together with the Mahavipaka. Okay, so let's continue to the Q&A session. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Sayadaw, for the Abhidhamma lecture. We will now be moving on to the question and answer session on the Zoom meeting. For everyone else joining us on the stream today, thank you for joining us today. The live streaming will now end here, and we will continue with the Q&A session on the Zoom meeting. May all beings be healthy, happy, and peaceful, and may we soon all realize the eternal peace of Nirvana.